Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your September reading. Let's go ahead and get started here with an oracle card. Let's see what comes through. Big month with Pluto coming back into your sign yet again. So there's a lot happening in September. It is a tumultuous month, okay? Astrologically anyway. Okay, higher power. So maybe this is a reminder for you to, tap into your higher power once in a while, to tap into the divine, into the higher self, and into that quiet voice, and to really operate from that more supraconscious place as opposed to the ego, making sure that the decisions that you're making are truly aligned with the highest manifestations that you're working towards, and doing whatever you need to do to kind of supersede those immediate kind of urges that you have. I think this is going to be a month of a lot of, I don't want to say self-control, but maybe a little bit of self-control. But I do think it's going to be a month where we need to exhibit significant self-awareness so that we don't get caught up in the repeat stuff. Because with Pluto coming back into Capricorn, we also have Uranus stationing retrograde on September 1st. We have eclipse season building. And by the way, the eclipse in September, on September 17th, is in Pisces conjunct Neptune. So it's just kind of a strange situation that we have going on. So we want to make sure that we are tapping into kind of what is beyond our eyeballs, okay? Tapping into the intuition, tapping into that place of peace so that when we're dealing with people, when we're making decisions, we're not being deceived or we're not, making a decision out of confusion or anything like that, okay? So we want to make sure that we're coming at it from a stable, still, quiet place. We have birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Now, this is an inevitability, and we have been doing this already for the majority of the year. However, one message that's coming through really, really strong for me is that this Pluto dipping back into Capricorn is very much about death. Now, I don't mean like physical death, right? But it means, when I say death, I also do not mean transformation. Okay, because I think a lot of the transformation stuff, we've gone through so much. I don't know that that's what this transit is about necessarily. I think this transit is about the absolute finishing, ending, end of the end, never to be resurrected ever, never to be resurrected ever again type of stuff. So it's a little different. And that's why we have to kind of practice more awareness so that we don't keep things alive that are meant to die off. And, from that death place, that true end of the end kind of place, then that's when the birthing of new creations becomes effortless because there really isn't an option. Nothing from the past is being carried over into the future. We're not trying to lug all this baggage in with us, right? We have all this freedom. We have room to breathe. We have maybe even some voids that we can fill with new things, which can be a really wonderful thing. So it is a highly creative time, but it's creative because so much is ending. Okay? Let's see what the tarot cards have to say for Capricorn, starting with the Five of Wands. It doesn't surprise me. It's just the whole year, 2024 so far, and you've probably heard me say this a billion times by now, it was never about comfort to begin with. It was always meant to be uncomfortable. It was always meant to be, pushing us out of our comfort zone and whatnot. So we have Five of Wands, Temperance, and the Lovers. But September especially is not about comfort, okay? It's not about what we know. Though it's not about the way things have been. It's not about anything like that. So the Five of Wands, there can be strife. There can be conflict. There can be arguments. There can be drama. And I'm not saying you're going to be able to just use your self-awareness and stay out of that. I think we're all human beings. We all have different types of relationships. I think the Five of Wands is an inevitability. And we have to co-create with people, right? We have jobs, we have families, we have children, we have communities, we have neighbors, right? We're all co-creating all the time. And if people are reacting, well, sometimes you also have to react to their reaction or respond to their reaction. So, Five of Wands is inevitable. So the Temperance card comes out in the middle here and it says, this is your Zen place. So when that conflict arises, you are going to take that energy and you're going to transmute it and direct it towards something much more productive. And that's where the higher power really comes into play. Like I say, tapping into that super conscious place. Because I think a lot of people can get all caught up in this stuff, all caught up in the runaround, in the arguments, in, oh, well, so-and-so is doing X, Y, and Z. But you can go beyond that. It will still happen, but you don't have to be so engaged with it. So maybe you have to deal with a few things, but you can take a lot of that energy and say, I'm going to channel this in a different way. I'm going to transmute it. Sometimes it's easier said than done, I know, but you have the power to do it anyway. If you want to do it, you have the power to do it. And the Temperance card is also very disciplined. There's a stoic quality that comes through. So I don't necessarily see Capricorn getting riled up by the Five of Wands in the way that many other people are going to get riled up. I don't see you, again, emotionally reacting. You may deal with stuff, but you're not going to be emotionally invested. And you'll see what happens when other people get emotionally invested in conflict. And it ruins their whole day or it ruins their chances with something. And I just don't think Capricorn is in a place where they're going to let that happen. So you deal with things with a really stoic, composed, right? Truly maintaining your dignity, not getting down into the gutter really. And you take that energy and you move it toward the Lovers. Now the Lovers is multifaceted. This could be as simple as a choice that you have to make. And sometimes the Lovers is a big choice and it can really, if you go left, it has one outcome. And if you go right, it has a completely different outcome. So you have to be very outcome oriented right now and truly ask yourself, ultimately, what is the outcome that I want? Because the outcome that you want may require you to do something a little bit harder up front that you may have somewhat of an aversion to, and yet if you still go down that path, that that'll lead you to the right place, okay? On a little bit of a different level with the Lovers, there could be a collaboration or a union of some kind that occurs. And there's a lot of communication that happens with the Lovers too, where, there's two people or multiple people, there's a lot of ideas, you're working together, you're coming together, you're celebrating differences. This is certainly a much higher quality card than the Five of Wands. And there's probably going to be an extremely stark contrast between the people who are participating in the Five of Wands and the people with whom you're in this Lovers relationship with. Again, Lovers does not necessarily mean romantic love. It's just, there's a wholeness quality. There's a sharing of a mind, sharing of a heart. There could also be a lot of truly creative energy that comes through there. So with whoever you're doing that kind of stuff with, it's a much higher quality relationship than what's going on with the Five of Wands. Or maybe not. It could be there could be the same people involved. It's a different tone. Okay. It's a totally different use of the energy. And because this is, birthing new creation, this is certainly more conducive to bringing things to life. On a more literal level, some of you may actually be trying to have children, build businesses, start new projects, do new initiatives. And this is like the birth of all of those things. Okay. So you seem to be in a good place. I'm not worried about Capricorn. I'm not worried about you, and I'm not worried about the events that could ensue. The reason I'm not worried is because, first of all, you've already been through all the stuff past 15 years. You've been through it. It's not like, I hope no other astrologer is making you scared of this transit. There's nothing to be scared of. It's the end of everything. It's something to be excited about. It's something to be, to really look forward to and to embrace. Oh, well, Nine of Swords. Okay. Nine of Swords. And the Ace of Coins. Ace of Coins seems to be coming out quite a bit this month with a lot of the signs, which I'm happy about. And then we have the Hierophant. I'm happy about it because it's kind of that carrot at the end of the stick. Actually, not even at the end of the stick. It's just the reward. It's what happens when you're aligned in the right way, which you do seem to be. And it's the initial steps toward the new manifestations. Now, the Nine of Swords, there is a lot of, I don't know why this is standing out to me, but it's like all these knives or swords here are kind of pointing in toward the woman. And it might feel like things are really coming at you. And maybe that's Five of Wands too. Things are coming at you. They are external adversarial scenarios or people or circumstances that you may perceive. Again, perception is very important, especially with this eclipse happening in Pisces conjunct Neptune. I don't know that we can really trust our perception of things right now. And I'm not trying to make you skeptical of yourself or skeptical of, what your gut feeling. But again, this is why the higher power is so important, because when you think about things from a still place, you're not going to be jumping to conclusions or making assumptions that might be wrong. And you're not going to be making big decisions that are rooted in, like a state of frenzy or angst or anything like that. You're going to be making decisions from a place that feels grounded and rooted, as we see with the Hierophant. But with the Nine of Swords, it might feel like, things are coming at you. But again, it's not really what you're perceiving it to be. And I hate to perpetuate the idea that you have to be a little distrusting of stuff, but I think right now we do. We all do. We all need to be just a little bit more careful about how we interpret things. If we need clarity, we need to ask for clarity, and we need to sit down with people and have long form conversations to make sure we clear the air and make sure that we're not operating from some wrong something, okay? Because with the card of Five of Wands right above it, it's like, well, if we're making wrong assumptions, no wonder why there might be strife, because other people might be doing it too. You think they think this and they think you think that, when maybe both of you are wrong, and it's like, why fight if you're both coming at this from the wrong place? So clarity is going to be your best friend. Clarity and like concrete clarity. So if you find yourself saying, well, I think they think this, if you find yourself saying that, I would check yourself and be like, okay, well, I may think that. Let me clarify. I'm not saying for sure you're going to be wrong, okay? But it's nice to know for sure, okay? And the Ace of Coins, because the Nine of Swords right next to the Ace of Coins, it kind of sours the benefit of the Ace of Coins, I think. I think it's like, well, I don't know, it kind of like dulls it a little bit. And we don't need to dull the Ace of Coins. The Ace of Coins is beautiful. It's a beautiful opportunity. It's usually something that we want. It's like money coming in. It's the job offer coming in. It's someone saying, hey, Capricorn, I want to have a relationship with you. Or it's one of those types of steps towards something bigger, towards something better, towards something that you actually want. So, we don't want to dull the sheen or the shine from that beautiful gold coin there. And with the Hierophant, again, that reminder to really tap in. Now, the Hierophant says you're always connected with truth. Always. You're always rooted in the absolute. That's the nature of being a spiritual being and having that spiritual component. But we can confuse that sometimes with the inner voice that's sometimes rooted in ego. Because the ego is not always this big arrogant thing, right? It's not always this bad thing. It's just sometimes we identify a little bit too heavily with what our ego is thinking and saying. So the Hierophant sort of goes beyond the ego a little bit. It's slower, and I think you're going to have to make decisions a little bit more slowly right now, simply because we want that security in that we're making the right choice. And in order to have that security, we need to be sure. Okay. And I just don't know that we're going to be sure quickly. We're not going to be sure right away. So the Hierophant is okay with taking things very slowly. It's okay with things progressing, in such a way that it's manageable and it can be built upon. Let's pull out the remaining 3 cards before I say anything else. Page of Wands. The 8 of Swords. And Strength. Okay. So the 8 of Swords, let's talk about that first, because it kind of coincides with the 9 of Swords a little bit. And it is that reminder that you might be getting in your own way a little bit, that your mind might be getting in your way. And there might be some little mental booby traps that you're going to have to be aware of. This is why you don't jump to conclusions or make assumptions about anything. And a lot of those, it's like I feel like obstacles that you think, and again, things coming at you, perceived obstacles, perceived problems, perceived issues with other people. There's something so intangible about it. It's all just kind of made up a little bit because you're not really trapped. You're not really locked in. You're not really stagnant or stuck or anything like that. It's just that you might be kind of using your mind in a way that's not helpful. Okay, so we want to just make sure that we're tapping into how we are using our mind and overcoming, because this feels more like a process of overcoming ourselves more than anything. Now, that's one thing with this Pluto dipping back into Capricorn, is it will bring stuff back up, but it's not meant for us to get sucked back into it. It's not meant for us to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is happening again, and be overwhelmed by it and feel attacked by it. This is not an attack. This is not anything personal. Okay. This is just, have you learned the lesson or not? Have you figured it out or not? Have you attained the level of wisdom that Pluto in Capricorn was meant to give you or not? Have you changed in the way that you were meant to change or not? And are you going to bring the baggage into the next chapter or not? And this is your chance to really use, again, kind of pull that mind up out of that ego, pull that mind into a much higher plane. And it does take a lot of self-awareness and strength to do that. I'm not saying it's easy, and I'm not saying, maybe it gets easier, but I think even the most spiritual people sometimes can get confused, or the most, I don't want to say most spiritual. I feel like it's kind of silly, but you know what I mean? The most people who meditate all the time or whatever, it doesn't really matter. We can still get confused. And so to make sure that we have that clarity of understanding, okay, that's just my ego, that's just my fear, that's just my insecurity, that's just X, Y, and Z. And then this over here, this is the voice I should really be listening to. Because sometimes those voices are really hard to differentiate, because your ego's not always greedy. It's not always arrogant. It's not always all these things, right? It's just living life. It's just helping you live life. So we want to take time and make sure that we are listening to the right voices, and to have the self-awareness to understand when, well, maybe I don't really know what the right voice is right now. Maybe I need to take my time, take a breather to figure it out. Because I am seeing your enthusiasm here, Capricorn, with wanting to take new steps with that Page of Wands. I see that you want to have progress and you want to embark upon a whole new adventure and you want to grab onto that Ace of Coins and you want to take it and do something great with it. And I know you want that, but these swords are in the way. These mindsets, these narratives, these whatever are in the way. And the stuff that's surfacing, it's like hammering those in even that much more. So you are going to have to be strong, okay? And you are going to have to persevere, and you are going to have to be able to detach and disconnect a little bit to make sure that you can really gain your bearings. Then you start making decisions. Then you start committing to things. Then you start setting yourself up as you start bringing in these new creations here. Okay? All right. Let's pull out the clarifier. So we're going to pull out a whole bunch of new cards, and we're going to talk for another 25 to 30 minutes about those cards in the comprehensive reading. The link for that is in the description box in the comment thread down below. So if you want to join, you are absolutely more than welcome. So let's take a look at this Five of Wands. What else does Capricorn need to know about the Five of Wands? Fool, King of Coins, Two of Coins. That's actually not what I expected with that card. That's kind of funny. Okay, that's okay. We have Temperance on top of Temperance. Let me pull out 3 more cards since we got a repeat. Justice, 10 of Coins. I'm sorry, 10 of Cups and the Moon. Judgment. Judgment with the Lovers. That's interesting. And then 4 of Swords. Another Ace of Coins. Beautiful. 2 of Wands. 9 of Wands. King of Cups. A lot of emotional stability. 5 of Cups. 8 of Swords. See, there's something weird about, that's what I mean. Like, I don't want that Ace of Coins to lose its sheen and sparkle simply because you're misinterpreting it somehow. Hierophant with the Knight of Cups. The Sun. 5 of Coins. Okay. Ooh, page on top of a page. Okay. Page of Wands on top of Page of Wands. So again, we'll pull out 3 more. 10 of Coins, Page of Coins. Beautiful. Love to see that. Now for the 8 of Swords. Okay. Last but not least, for the Strength card, what else, Capricorn? Beautiful. Okay, so this is where we're going to pick up in the comprehensive. Okay, so if you want to join, you are more than welcome. I think this story is going to get a little textured, so bear with me on that one. If you want to join, again, links down below. Thank you all so much. Have an amazing September, and I'll talk to you soon.